I wanted to make this video because I feel like I found something so special and almost a jackpot in life, and I wanted to share it with you guys. When I first became a teenager, I remember the times being extremely awkward and confusing, and I never knew how to express how I felt. And I'm sure other teenagers have felt the same way. It's kind of crazy because it felt like no one talked about it, although a lot of us were feeling the same way. I honestly felt like the beginning of my teenage years, I wasn't as stressed as later on I would become to be, but I do remember the feeling of like I never fit in. I always was trying to make new friends, and a lot of things felt forced, I'm not gonna lie. I had no idea how to deal with those feelings and even talk about it for that matter. In fact, I remember literally being this whole different person from home versus at school. At school, I tried to put on a facade that everything was okay and that nothing bothered me, but really I was struggling. It scared me to speak truths that others didn't talk about or understand. A way to cope was talking to my family, and I'm very grateful they were always there to listen. Because I'm the youngest, I've always felt a bit more mature than other people my age, which feels like a blessing and a curse. Others usually didn't understand some of my logic, but the upside was that I learned important skills young and had people who would always show up for me. Making stupid videos and recording moments during this time helped me so much, because when I looked back at them, they always made me laugh and appreciate these moments, even when I was struggling. I needed those videos to remind me that there's so many good things in my life, even though I didn't understand what was going on in my head. It has taken me a long time to feel comfortable expressing my real self at school, but from letting go of caring so much about what others think of me, I've been able to thrive. I was not aware how much suppressing myself and my emotions for the sake of others affected me until I learned to let go. But in middle school and going into high school, I had no idea how to feel comfortable being myself around others. So once I reached high school, I was really struggling. I went to get help, I was going to therapy, I was also starting medication, which was kind of a complication within itself, just because it is so hard to treat teenagers. With therapy and medication, I was able to kind of bounce back. But then a lot of bad habits started to form along the way, along with some good ones, but a lot of them were very destructive behavior. I started forming attachments to people and expecting so much of them, usually unrealistically. I almost expected them to read my mind and know what I was thinking all the time. That lasted for a really long time. I felt so stuck because those behaviors continued to just make things worse, and in a way, it felt like I was back at square one. So within the past year and a half, I really began to look within myself and ask the question, how can I help myself? At first, it honestly felt impossible. There was a pivotal point in my life last summer. My whole view of the world was almost shattered. I had the same way of thinking for so long, and things that honestly drove me nuts. But what changed my attitude is that I learned to let go. It wasn't like a snap of a finger that once I started to, quote, let go, that everything changed. But it was a result of continuous surrender that was successful. Just letting go a bit every day. And I didn't know this at the time, that that's what I was doing, and that's what was successful. And what felt so defeating was that I would be doing so well, and then an old behavior or an old habit would come back, and it would suck me back in. And afterwards, if I kind of indulged in that, I felt so guilty. It felt awful. But as I continued from that point on, I learned that those things were just going to keep happening, and that they kept coming back for a reason, and that they were lessons that needed to be learned. And so the next time something like that appeared, the first thing that I did was recognize it. I recognized, that behavior's back, and that I'm struggling with this. This is making me emotional. This is X, Y, and Z. And even that in itself is letting go a little bit. You're recognizing it, that this is something I used to struggle with, but it doesn't mean that I'm failing or I'm not doing well. It just means it's still something that needs to be healed. And so again, with more and more lessons and more of it coming back up, I began to accept it for what it was. I began to accept that there are certain things that I can't change. You certainly can't change a person. You can't change the way they think or their actions. And that was the hardest thing of all for me. I got so disappointed when people didn't think the same way or had the same morals. I expected people to just understand me. Those standards ended up just pushing people away instead. It's easy to tell someone to just drop expectations, but if they have a clouded mindset, it's not that simple. What allowed me to stop expecting so much of others was shifting my mindset by reframing what I've done for them, not as sacrifices, but as acts of loving generosity. From making this change, I experienced a lot of growth. The book inspiring this video shifted my perspective not only in myself, but in others. Seeing the results of making these changes has been very gratifying. I feel like I found this book for a reason. When I was at the bookstore a few months ago, this book stood out to me. I'd never seen it before, although I go to this store often. I've bought multiple self-help books in the past, but I had never finished one. Although I had grown a lot already, there were still things I struggled with. A common one was frequently recognizing when I was getting upset about something, but not knowing how to move forward and correct it. It felt like a constant cycle of being aware and challenging my thoughts, but still not being able to do anything about it. So this book entered my life at the right time and taught me how to move forward. It uncovered truths I'd neglected and enlightened me to things I knew deep down, but I was just too scared to think about or confront. And I would like to share a few key points that helped me implement change in my life. First, here's the mechanism of letting go. And the first step is to allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting it, venting it, fearing it, condemning it, or moralizing about it. You're dropping the judgment and just seeing that it's just a feeling. And it's important to know that as we become more familiar with letting go, it'll be noticed that all negative feelings are associated with our basic fear related to survival, and that all feelings are merely survival programs that the mind believes are necessary. And so, to be surrendered means to have no strong emotions about a thing, and that it's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. And this is something that I really struggled with. I never knew how to surrender to something. They always just felt so strong, and I felt helpless. Sometimes we surrender a feeling and we notice that it returns or continues. And it's because there's more of it yet to be surrendered. We have stuffed these feelings all our lives, and there can be a lot of energy pushed down that needs to come up and be acknowledged. When surrender occurs, there is an immediate lighter, happier feeling, almost like a high. And in the anger chapter, it felt like it was hitting the nail on the head on every single point. Anger is a driving force and holds a lot of energy. I wouldn't consider myself an angry person, but anger is definitely something that comes up sometimes. I feel like I used to be a very angry person because I held so many resentments. And so, in reaction, anger would usually form. But anger usually is covering some other emotion up. Anger appeared a lot in my relationships and my friendships specifically. And so when I read this quote, we will come to the awareness that everyone in our life is acting as a mirror. I felt like, holy crap. I started looking at where maybe some of my past friendships went wrong or why I have any animosity with literally anyone in my life. And I realized it's because the energy that I put out towards them, they are just reflecting that. It made me really think about how my energy towards someone is just being reflected right back. If I'm negative towards them, they'll be negative right back to me. What you give is what you get. And along with this comes expectations. When we stop pressuring others with our expectations, we create an opening for them spontaneously to respond positively to us. And from this book, it says, we get what we want when we stop insisting on it. And lastly, from this chapter, why go out of our way to hold onto them as enemies by stockpiling resentments and negativity in ourselves? When you think about it, it's not them being affected by your negativity, it's you who is. Anger is binding, not freeing. You're the one who experiences the consequences of holding onto the anger and resentments. If there's a person who angers you, they will just keep coming back because you have not surrendered the anger. We would all like to think, well, that was their fault, and they did this to me and they were wrong. But I haven't been looking at how that affects me as a person, how that drains my energy constantly, holding on to these irrelevant things. I decided to apply this to my life and make a change in my thoughts towards someone I thought negatively about previously. And I honestly wanted to experiment. If I change the energy of even just thinking about them differently, what will the outcome be? And sure enough, it worked. Once I changed my demeanor about this person, from it being so angry, confused, hurt, full of resentment, I changed it into gratitude. Gratitude that I have learned a lesson from this person, and while they may not be in my life actively, I can learn something from them. Both our demeanors towards each other changed. And I couldn't be more grateful for that. What a gift it is to drop all that negativity, all that weight on our shoulders, and just let it go. To just be okay with what it is. When I first read these things, I was like, how am I supposed to just, quote, let it go? years of resentment, years of things and just negativity. But that's what the point is of, you're not gonna get it overnight. It's gonna be continuous. It's gonna continue showing up for a reason, as a lesson. And then once you just finally let go to even the feeling itself, instead of resisting it and just doing it, it will change your life. Ever since I started reading this book, I started to become more conscious of my thoughts and how I am putting my energy towards things. And when I became conscious of that, I realized I think part of why I feel so drained sometimes is because I'm putting so much energy into things that are not relevant to the now, the present. Instead of me focusing on schoolwork or family or whatever it is, I was spending my extra energy into these things that happened maybe even years ago. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one that feels that way or has felt that way. I'm committed to reinventing myself by letting go. I'm sure there's still going to be struggles, but I'm okay with that. These are programs that have been built in my head, and I know they won't change immediately. I'm excited for this new chapter in my life and for choosing the path of surrender. My eyes have been opened, and the path ahead is energetic. Some takeaways I want you to consider are these. To relinquish a feeling, sometimes it is necessary to acknowledge and let go of the payoff of it. Make a decision that freedom is more desirable than having a negative feeling. Relinquishing a desire does not mean that you won't get what you want. It merely clears a way for it to happen. And be aware that your inner state is known and transmitted. The people around you will intuit what you are feeling and thinking, even if you don't verbalize it. Some of the ideals in this book really challenged my thinking, and I was even skeptical of some of them. But it is so important to be open to these ideas, as it can greatly enhance your life. The intentions you hold in your mind will become your reality. I'm still learning to let go every day and acknowledge old patterns that don't serve me anymore. By continuously doing this, I come into my own power, with it happening on its own. I found more joy and passion in things I started to lose interest in. As some of you guys may know, I'm an artist, so surprisingly, my passion for art was dulling. But once I moved to a level of courage, something frequently talked about in the book, I had a massive creativity spark, and the passion was back. I feel more alive and more connected to myself than I've ever been before. Learning to let go has been one of my biggest callings ever, so I leave this with you. The life energy set free by letting go of negativity now flows into positive attitudes, thoughts, and feelings, with a positive increase of personal power. With the removal of negativity, dynamic forces are unloosened, so that what were once impossible dreams now become actualized goals. What would your life be like if you started letting go? What space would open up for you?
Guys, most beautiful sunset ever. Look at the sun peeking out of the hill.
Yeah, it's insanely beautiful.
And I'm gonna be here in my beautiful Sissy Creek. Wouldn't trade it for the world. And the beautiful moon. And it's a new month. New beginnings. And very excited for this next month.
Very exciting. Oh my god.
It'll be she's gonna be halfway done with senior year.
Ah!
Yeah. After, I mean, you're gonna be going
midterms for 10. Or 10
We already had midterms.
Sorry, semester.
Yeah, we're finishing.
Yeah, finishing.
We're finishing our Kent semester together.
I'm so excited. I don't understand.
She's done to be your art history class. Oh yeah, we gotta decide we were going to dinner.
Straight at this point.